Hello friends and family, and welcome back to Freedom Forest. I'm Dan, and today we're going to give you a little tour into the deep unknown, the rainforest, the tropical jungle of Freedom Forest, South UK. Let's check it out. Come in. So as we enter this first area here, this flat area here we call the Jungle Plateau, and beautiful place to come and chill in the summer, or in fact any time of the year. You may hear a bit of water there, and that is actually our reservoir and nature pond here. Really beautiful. A lot of plants in there which help to keep the water clear, and the water is aerated and circulates with the solar power. Behind you here, one of my favourite plants actually before we go on. This is the yellow bamboo. The culms can get really big on this variety. I think it's called potentially this, Philostachys vivax. I know it's got vivax in the name anyway, V-I-V-A-X maybe, but I'm sure you'll find it if you're interested on looking. Let's come over here a bit, because before we go down into the deep jungle, we have a bigger specimen of that one right here, looking great. I only planted this maybe 3 or 4 years ago from just a small little divide of a plant, and each year they get bigger and bigger, and these were a few from last season, and yeah, they're getting like, my hand can only just go round now, so very exciting to see what these can do into the future, because it'd be beautiful to have kind of proper decent bamboo that we can use. So follow me down now. All sorts of rare plants here from all over the world, evergreens. This one is called port wine. It has the most beautiful, delicate little pink flowers on. It's often called magnolia. I don't think it's a true magnolia, but this, believe it or not, is actually one of my favourite plants here out of all of the plants. So, just so gorgeous. Have a variegated New Zealand flax here, or phormium they're sometimes called. We have all sorts of like scented plants around here, like the salvias down here. They have a lovely like blackcurrant kind of smell to them when you crush the leaves. Very beautiful. Here we have, I grew a bunch of these from seed last year. These are, what are these called, Laurie? Acacias. Acacia deal better. False acacia they're sometimes called, and the most beautiful, almost feather-like evergreen leaves here, and these get stunning yellow flowers on throughout the winter, and I'll show you a mature one down there in a minute. They also fix nitrogen into the soil as well, which is really cool. So coming down through here, we have some beautiful palms, some cordylines there, cotoneasters, has berries on for most of the winter, really beautiful. This plant here is another rare one. So this is called Trachycarpus, is the species name, and this is actually called the Windermere palm, this one, because, or the windmill, it goes in a full circle here, you see, and a lot of the other species of these, although hardy, they don't go in the full circle. So yeah, I really love this one. And the Trachycarpus species are hardy, some of them I think down to like -15, really hardy, because they're from high up in the mountains. Evergreen as well, of course, gorgeous, and the fibre on those are used for all sorts of textiles and clothing, traditionally bags. It's almost like, let's see if I can show you just down here. it's almost like furry. It's very similar to what's around a coconut, for example. And I've been experimenting, and I think they'd be really good for using as like a natural sponge for washing up. It's not going to biodegrade too quickly or just be full of plastic like a lot of the ones you buy. You can see just over here, beautiful pink flowers. That's a Camellia japonica, and absolutely beautiful. They're almost like rose-like flowers if you don't know them. Really, really shade tolerant as well. Gorgeous small trees. I grow them as kind of like a standard. Here, this leaf coming past my face is the big boy. We saw the variegated New Zealand flax a minute ago. This is the kind of like natural wild strain. Beautiful big leaves, and the Maori of Aotearoa, or New Zealand as it's called now, use these as their primary source for making mats, baskets, all sorts of things. That's something I'm going to get into a lot more in the future, but for now we use these mainly for twine because they're just so strong. You can cut one of these leaves, rip these into little sections, and you can't even break it, so they're perfect for tying up bamboo sticks and anything you need twine for. Have more varieties of all sorts here. This is a bamboo. This is a really tall, thin, straight growing bamboo. This variety here will grow up to like 6 meters tall, and this is a great one used in China. They split this one down, and this is something I've been experimenting with, and it's great for making long strips for making baskets and mats from. It takes a bit of skill to cut it straight, but you'll get 4 or 5 pieces out of each of these, and they're almost like a bit of rattan, if you know that. While we're here, just looking over here, this is something I'm really proud of. So these, what are they called, Laurie?
Passion vines.
Passion vines. These passion vines, I planted a few of these a few years ago. Evergreen, beautiful, edible fruits. I eat these all the time. In fact, this was a seedling from a tree at one of the gardens I maintain. I'm normally just gorging in the summer on the fruits there. And this one has grown all the way up this eucalyptus to probably at least 10 meters high now. And it's going to look so cool when it's just dangling with hundreds of orange fruits in the summertime. All of these eucalyptuses as well are ones that we've grown. I've grown most of them from seed, some are from plug plants, and they form like the main canopy layer of this jungle. We've been cutting some as well for firewood. It's a really, really good firewood. It's a hardwood, and it's almost, it's kind of like, it acts like a hardwood for burning, but it's like pine. It holds the flame like pine. Really cool. And if you're into bushcraft and stuff, they shed their bark like this, almost like a snake every year, where they grow so quickly. And this is really good for starting fires as well. So coming down into here, we have more trachycarpuses. We've got, as you look down onto the floor here, you see all these red leaves, and this is from red robin. And you'll see on these leaves there's black spots, and that's the same as what roses have when you get the black spots on them, because these are in the same family as roses, believe it or not. We have cultivated rhododendrons here, which are another evergreen shade tolerant plant, and these all have beautiful different coloured flowers on them, and they don't spread like some of the ones that you see that take over the forest as well. They're all hybrids. So into here, another one of my favourite plants. This is Mahonia japonica, and it's quite a spiky shrub, normally really dense, but I prune these into standards. You can see the stems coming up here, and they have a really like palm tree kind of look to them when you do that, and I leave the greenery just on the top there. And these are one of the first shrubs to have edible berries on in the spring. You see here they're all forming. They're actually called grapes and quite astringent. I eat them, Laurie's not a fan, but there's no doubt many ways that you could use these, I'm sure, in preserves and things like that. Yeah, and being evergreen, many of these plants actually do their flowering and fruiting during the winter, which is a really good source of food for the birds when all the other native plants are bare and there's not much going on. So I think one of the earliest native plants to have berries, and that is ivy. But these are kind of persist through the winter, and it's nice to see the birds in here, yeah, having a nice feed when there's not much else going on. This little palm here, really gorgeous. Smaller leaves than the other Trachycarpus we saw earlier. This is actually a Trachycarpus again, but it's a different variety here. It's called, the kind of short name for the plant geeks is it's often referred to as waggy, W-A-G-G-Y. So coming down into here, we have more cordyline, another plant from New Zealand, evergreen, hardy to -5, possibly lower if you had it in kind of protected position like this. Yeah, just really beautiful. I love how they shed their old leaves down here. And some varieties go bare like this, the stem. Other varieties maintain all of their leaves, and it looks like a bit like a Hawaiian skirt. We'll find one to show you in a minute. And this was a really important food plant for the Maori people, certain tribes at least of New Zealand, who the roots of these have massive fibrousy kind of starch-like, they're almost like big tuber lumps under there. And before some of the easier to grow crops that came from Europe, they would process those and eat those. And you can also eat the top like heart of palm, and it tastes like cabbage. And that's one of the reasons it's called the cabbage palm as well. And you can use these as well, like the flax, for weaving and also tying stuff. It's all so strong, these plants. So they give such good fibre, just like the plants you'd find in the jungle. Different bamboos here. And on the floor layers, we have all different types of evergreen ferns, all sorts of native ones and non-native ones. This beautiful little shelter, me and a couple of mates built a few years ago. This is all just wood from the forest here, and it's thatched with the leaves of the Trachycarpus palm. So yeah, nice to be able to utilise them, and a beautiful place to come any time of the year, especially winter though, on a cold night, and come under here and have a fire. And yeah, it's literally like being in like a mini greenhouse here with like the double canopy. It's very, very cool. Yeah, beautiful. This tree here is probably one of the bigger of the eucalyptuses. This is only about 8 years old probably, and yeah, you can see how big she is. Really beautiful. Here's one of those cordylines I was talking about, variety that keeps all of its skirt all the way up, you see that? And that actually gives an amazing habitat for all sorts of native insects and small, what they called mammals. Like quite often when I'm in gardens, I'll see squirrels that actually nest in these, and if you pull these apart, the amount of spiders and other insects in there, it's like, yeah, they love it. It's like a little waterproof home in there. Very cool. And the whole ground now, it took probably about 5 years initially for the canopy of the eucalyptuses to close up. And we've now got a proper forest floor in here. So for the first 3 or 4 years, I still had to come in and trim and stuff and cut the grass, but now it's completely self-managing in here. This plant here, another one of my absolute favourites, it's called the loquat, and this is a plant which is grown through the Mediterranean, really popular fruits, beautiful, long, gorgeous evergreen leaves, especially when you grow it in shade like this, they get much bigger. And these actually have beautiful fruit, like I mentioned, Right now it's not quite warm enough for them to set fruit here, although there have been a few in London, which isn't far away, which have in the last few years. So if the climate does continue to change, some of these plants, yeah, could be important in the future. As many of our native or commonly grown fruit trees like apples and things, they need a certain amount of cold, like chill hours a year, frost and stuff, and yeah, as we start to get less of that, we barely get frost now, so some of these plants may be really important in the future. Behind that here we have a bay tree, and many of you guys will probably know these from, you've heard you put a leaf in cooking and stuff when maybe making curries and that. I grow them as a standard tree, as you can see, really beautiful, and this one is flowering here now. It's a gorgeous yellow and white flowers on there, and yeah, this will keep growing into a lovely tree, shade tolerant as well, so it's a good one that you can use as kind of like a underplanting tree. We have here spotted laurel. Again, it's beautiful berries on here at the moment. Gorgeous spotted leaves, it's almost like a starry night. Just so beautiful to look at. I love it. We have some leaves, some flowers here come in on this laurel. So the rest of the laurel we have around here, we cut every year as hedges so they don't flower because we cut them. But this one in here does, and yeah, sometimes they have a bad rep, but really good nectar source. Yeah, they have beautiful berries on as well, which is why they're called cherry laurel, because they look like cherries. Yeah, gorgeous. Shade tolerant, easy to propagate from cuttings as well. Let's see what we've got through here. We have these acanthuses which look like rhubarb. They must be probably similar family, and these actually come up in kind of like more like winter time, and then they go down in the summertime. But yeah, really nice, and they don't mind being in some of the shadier areas. And as we come up this little tunnel way here, we have more different varieties of palms and bamboos. We have black bamboo here, a yellow striped bamboo. There's bananas and all sorts in the undergrowth here. Another one of my faves here, this is another evergreen magnolia, or it's commonly known as a magnolia, Magnolia grandiflora. And it does have big white flowers on. They only last for a few days, but it's more just for the beautiful foliage. This here is a particular variety called Victoria, and what sets this one aside is not only the size of the leaves, they're bigger, but it also has green underside of the leaves instead of like a velvety gold, which many of the others have. And I really love that one for that. And yeah, I got it just in the reduction aisle at a garden centre as a stick. All the leaves had fallen off, and yeah, you can see how well it's grown. So let's go this way, shall we? Here we have this was an old shed my friend was getting rid of years ago, and yeah, got it. Just made a little awning bit there with some chairs. Just use it for storage, but yeah, it's nice to be able to come here and sit for coffee or whatever. And one day might redo it as like a little thatched hut or something. We'll see. So if we come down here, I wanted to show you an example of one of the acacias that's actually flowering now. But before we get to it, there's another beautiful plant here called Luma apiculata, or the Chilean myrtle, I think it's called another name. Has berries that are edible, really beautiful plant, and it's often planted for its berries as well. And up here you might just be able to see when the camera can pan up, you can see some of the beautiful yellow foliage of that acacia up there. And this one's coming to an end now, but it must have been out for a good, what, 6 weeks, Laurie? 2 months, something like that now?
Yeah, all through the winter.
Yeah, so in the deep winter when everything else is bare, it's just like a gorgeous yellow Christmas tree. So that's a little look around the jungle. It's hard to say, we never know what you guys really love to see. So if you've enjoyed having a look around today, and you'd want more videos like this, or some more details on some more of the plants or how I've planted certain things, let us know. Love to hear from you down in the comment section. We read every comment, of course. Sending you all loads of love and look forward to seeing you again soon. Peace and plants.